Fizy hisset müziği fizy. Müzikalite.
This content has no title,
Yeah.
but intention alone. Then the intention is to introduce you one of the most talented, gifted young people that I know. Hi, Selin.
Hi. Hey.
How do you feel yourself?
How do I feel? I feel fine. I feel good, but fine. That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because fine has texture. Good is just a state of being, but fine has texture.
Yeah.
And how you define your well-being or your state is also how you define quality. That's called qualia.
Yeah.
And I can easily say that fine textures, minute details mean a lot to you in your music.
Yes.
How did you become this whole package that is you right now? Comes from your childhood. And you were telling me about your father's project.
Yeah.
That is you.
Yeah.
Tell me a little.
So I was born in Istanbul, but I was raised in the UK for 12 years of my life. You know, well, if we're going to go way back, let's go way back. My dad was a musician in his own way. And I think when he realized that, you know, his family wasn't supporting him in the whole music thing, he kind of just went into tourism. And then, you know, after meeting my mom and after they had me, he was like, okay.
Corporate slave.
Yeah. He's like, I want to, you know, kind of sweetly manipulate my daughter into being a musician. And for that, kids are sponges. So he would just, you know, play music around the house, play his records, put the radio on or sing to me and like with the guitar. And I think as a child, it's whatever you're kind of surrounded with, we pick it up. And so as I grew older and the more I was aware of what was going on, I remember he always tells me, it was like, so 7 was when I first recorded my first song with him, but I was 4 when he first tested my ear because I could always hear him singing. And I think one day
Do you actually remember when you were 4?
I remember because
Vaguely.
there's videos of some of these moments, but I also trust his word for it. But he told me that when I was around 4, he called me into his room and he was like, hey, can you just like sing this back to me? Like, let's sing this together. So he like played it around and then I sang it back to him and he was like, okay, she's got an ear. Project is a green light. Let's go. And he was like, okay, she's obviously not tone deaf, so we have
You could have been tone deaf.
So we have something to work with. I think from there it started, and then it was just like us making music together, him playing music for me and me singing with him. And then when I was 7, we first recorded my official cover song, which was Hallelujah by Alexander Burke, because I saw it on X Factor and I fell in love with it. And that's when I first sang from the heart and like did all the high notes, and it fed my soul, and I was like, I want to do this, whatever this is.
Re-rendition of a cover.
Yeah. So Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah. At the time, Alexander Burke sang it on X Factor, and I loved her version because it was so powerful. And then I sang that, and I think after that is when I was like, okay, I love whatever this was and how it made me feel. So, and, you know, that's just a very sped up version. But from that age till, you know, I got to university, it was talent shows, choirs, musical camps, being in the
Who
lead.
inspired you?
Musically?
Musically.
I grew up on, I actually didn't mention this before, but I grew up on obviously like Disney Channel. So I love Disney and I still love it. So those, you know, everyone in Disney Channel was a big factor for me. I mean, I'll say it proudly, but Miley Cyrus would be one. Lady Gaga. At the time, she was just new, actually. Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Celine Dion. And then later on, I discovered, as I matured, Amy Winehouse. I grew up on a lot of rock classics like Pink Floyd and Santana and Van Morrison, like all that's thanks to my dad, that part. But I was very, very, very like a big fan of the big female vocals. And I still am and I still will be. But those are the names I kind of grew up on. From then till now, it's just been performing and, you know, talent shows. And I went to university in London.
So you studied actual music?
I studied music as well, yeah.
Music, not performing arts.
Well, you know, it's really, I feel like it's so subjective. I can't say I had a very professional education in music conservatory because that would not be a correct statement. I'm nowhere near a royal music.
Juilliard.
Yeah, I'm nowhere. I don't know. Maybe there's pluses and minuses to both of us, but I can't say that I'm a graduate of a professional music degree in, vocals and opera. I have so much respect to that. I'm not that, unfortunately. But I think my university definitely taught me what it is to be in the real life of a musician and the kind of the toughness of it, but also the beauty of it. Different styles, working with most of the time, I think if you really want to be an artist, you have to learn how to, one, obviously deal with yourself, two, deal with people and learn how to...
Music is an industry for that reason.
Music industry is not just the music. Honestly, 80% of it is the industry, and you have to know how to work with certain people, work around people, be okay with dealing with people that are not on your kind of way. It's weird. And I had a bite of that in university, and the chaos of trying to be your own manager, be your own person who puts on concerts, be the one who makes the flyers, be the one who does social media. Like, I think I might have done all of it in all those 3 years.
Do you write your own music as well?
I do write my own music, yes.
So how did that come about?
That was when I was around 14. I journal all the time. And I would journal then too about my feelings of what I felt. And it started from there.
Don't underestimate those. Come on.
Because here's the thing. I am very lucky to have grown up in a very healthy family household. So I never had a worry of if there was going to be food on my plate or a roof over my head. So I'm so thankful that I had that upbringing. So I could never have written about, some legends write about, the tough times they had at home and how, music saved them out of it. But music was just always kind of there for me. And it was never a thing that saved me. But for me, it was like a best friend that I could talk to. So for me, I think because I had this, good supportive upbringing, it allowed me to focus more on my human relations writing and writing about,
Music is your craft.
Yeah. And I think we underestimate the feeling that we all have about like heartbreak or relationships with people, with parents, with, people we meet. And it's so chaotic up in here, especially nowadays. I feel like artists are kind of little wizards given to us as a vessel to translate how we feel, because not everyone can. Some people translate it.
I love that metaphor.
Because some people translate it through cooking, and I think that's beautiful. And some people through
She's a chef.
Wow, amazing. There you go. Or like through architect, and that's amazing. I could never do that.
That's why I said music is your craft, because you didn't go through a lot of hard times or hardship. You could always focus on perfecting your craft.
Exactly. So I think when I chose this and I chose to write about, the daily relationship, stupid things I have to deal with, or my brain in relationships, or my brain with human relations, this is what I choose to write about, because I think some people need that someone who just even receiving a message of, I listened to this song and the lyrics you wrote translated to me and it made me heal through this. That to me is like, I'll cry right now just talking about that, because that to me is like the best thing I could do, is to just translate other people's feelings.
Piece of art is never the artist's alone, because once you compose that, once you craft that out of yourself, it is the audience that makes it into their own. They take it up and they interpret it. Because interpretation has two sides, your interpretation of your own psyche and the audience's, the listener's interpretation of what you have put out into their own life.
Exactly.
You have been going through a professional career, and there are some key moments in your life. Mm-hmm. One of those key moments has just passed, and you were on a stage in front of thousands of people in one of this country's best known vocalists. That performance got something out of you that I didn't know was there. Mm-hmm. Were you surprised by your own performance?
I would be underestimating myself if I said I wasn't surprised, but it was an emotional song for me in a way, because I relate to a lot of the lyrics and I know a lot of us do. So for me, it was definitely like, okay, this performance feels like it's going to be special. Like even before doing it, I was like, I don't know why, but it just feels like this is going to be a special performance for me and hopefully other people. And I think, even the prompters erroring and not showing the written part that I had to speak was kind of...
The narration part,
Yeah, I'm glad that happened, because in that moment I just locked into myself. I was like, okay, what do you want to say here? And I just kind of said what I really wanted to say. And I think maybe why it was liked is because it was just raw. And I think that's what I've always stood by, is just being really raw on stage. I mean, if I have to crack my voice or cry a little or yell a bit too much, then, you know, that's what I love doing. I mean, for me, it's like the fine tuning because I've seen a couple gigs of people I admire, and I've seen the very fine tuned, almost perfect, too perfect to watch shows. And then I've seen there was so much kind of so many imperfections in that's what made me connect to it, because I think
raw emotion.
I think we look for human connection nowadays more than ever. And the moment you see a real raw performance of someone just putting their heart and soul on stage and just talking to the audience like, hey, someone broke my heart a couple months ago and it messed me up, so here's a song about it. I think that's so nice. And that's like what we look for, instead of like, this is a song about feeling good. You know, I love songs about feeling good, but you know, why do you feel good? Because this. I think for me, the main thing is just rawness behind any artist and any song. And I think that's why that performance might have translated to other people in a good way.
Are your songs really that raw?
I think 80% of them are, because I write them in the moment. And when I go on stage with them,
of course, they have to be polished by the producers and the artists that actually play the instruments in their composition. But when you write them, when the moment that they emerge from your psyche, are they that raw?
Yeah, I usually write with no filter, and then sometimes I have to some songs I've had to pull back a little bit because I don't want to hurt. I don't want to make it too obvious, but I've definitely written them. And
so you have no fear of being vulnerable?
No, that's the only place I don't. And I think that's why I just choose to, if someone wants to get to know me, I'm like, listen to some of the stuff I've released. Then you can kind of get a bite of what it is. Again, there's so much I haven't released that so many people haven't heard yet. So I'm excited to release those, both English and Turkish, which tells the story of a lot of things I've been through and lived, things that my friends would maybe only know. And I'm actually excited because I used to pull back a lot when I wrote. I used to sugarcoat everything I did. All the things I wanted to say, I would sugarcoat in some sort of simple metaphor just to, be polite. But then I was like, fuck that. I'm just going to say, well, this person hurt me and I'm going to write about it, because I always tell myself I am no person to ever get revenge, but you will hear about it in a song. So that's what I choose to do. And it's the best way.
That's what Taylor does.
Exactly. So many people say so negative things about her, but I think she's awesome.
She changed the whole music industry from inside out.
I think so too. And there's a reason why people don't like her and also love her, because she's so honest. And I think, you got to have haters to be successful. And I'm like,
of course. If everyone loves you, it doesn't mean that you're doing everything right.
And I think that's something I need to accept more. I'm so I was for a while, and I still am. I don't know if this is related to music, but I'm always so caught up in what people might think about me, and I have to be the best version for them. And then I'm, after all these years, I'm like, you know what? Life is not getting any shorter. Stop.
No.
Stop caring this much. There's probably people who hate me, and you know what? I'm just okay. I know who I am, and the people who genuinely know me know who I am, and I think that's all I need. I don't need everyone to love me.
But everyone will love you in the end, and I can actually see that. Call it a vision, maybe. What's your next step, and what is your ultimate vision for yourself?
I love this question. My next step is, physically speaking, I'm preparing a Turkish album because I have a lot of things I want to talk about in that certain language.
Is an album still relevant? Because after Drake introduced us to playlist projects, no one does an album anymore.
I still think an album has to happen. It's like a
no physical album at all.
Physical, I don't know. I wish I could hold an album now. I have records like vinyls now, but even those are hard to find nowadays. But I definitely, I've been saying it for 2 years, but now it's definitely ready. 2025, beginning of it, I'll release a Turkish album. And then after that, I have 10, 15 songs pending, fully in English, that I've prepared, that are just waiting to also be released.
How many songs are there in your library that hasn't been released yet?
Probably over 50 or 60. I don't know. So many. Yeah. I mean, some of them I don't release because I'm I don't feel like that anymore. I could have been bolder.
You know what? Give us some snippets of them on social media.
I do it sometimes, but no.
Please do it. Don't hold back. Give us at least something to gather feedback on, so you know what your audience wants from you, because your audience is not just watching you. They are a part of who you are.
Yeah, some of them are sick of me teasing. So I stopped at some point because they're like, are you going to release this song or not? I'm like, you know what? Yes, but I'll stop teasing because it's mean. But, you know, I do it sometimes without ruining the surprise. But definitely after April is when I'm going to focus a lot more on the English stuff and what I want to say on that part.
April is too far away from now.
I'm so sorry.
Girl, you have to hurry up a little because
I mean, if it's up to me, I'd do it. Well, I mean, maybe I'll
contract.
Yeah.
Who's representing you?
So I'm with Warner Music, and yeah, I mean, it's great because they support. They're the only label that were ready to support my English stuff too. And until now, they've released all the English stuff I've wanted. But it's like I don't want to say it's unfortunate that unfortunately when you're, you know, and it sucks because there's so much talent, but when you're based in Turkey, a lot of the international side kind of look past you because, you know,
you're not there.
You're not there. Or like they just don't care until, you know, they see the numbers.
Because otherwise, it just doesn't mean that you're serious about it. You're serious enough about it to actually go and live there, be in it.
Exactly.
And time is so fast.
Yeah.
And because social media has released the borders from being valid anymore, but I think you better move there.
Yeah.
Where?
Honestly, for a while, I've been in London and I love London, but it's been part of me for so long that I'm like, maybe I just need to change it up and just go to the States.
Comfort zone.
Yeah, London was a comfort zone for me too. And here's definitely a comfort zone. London London, there's so much I haven't seen of it, so I can't really say it's a comfort zone because I haven't hacked London. I haven't hacked it here as well. But, you know, it's impossible to hack every corner of everything. No. But I've been in London for so long that I've been comfortable with the circles I have there. But anytime I go to the States, I always just meet so many interesting people. And I don't know, I've always felt like maybe this is the next step for me.
Where in the States?
Probably New York.
You look like a New Yorker kind of girl.
I feel like one too.
Your music is darker than your average. Your sound is more like a soundtrack. Every song feels like you're watching a movie and you're in it. So take up acting maybe. Is there any horizon that entails you acting?
Oh my God, I don't know. Not right now, but I would love to. I mean, when I was living in London, I went to acting classes a lot, but I never obviously I didn't have an agent or anything, so I didn't get casts and stuff, but I would love to do acting.
I don't think you're acting when you're writing songs, so they're authentic. And I really love listening to your vocal performances in songs that are not yours. You're just interpreting them. You're just singing other people's songs, but renditioning them in your own style, per se. And I really would love to hear more of those that you have kept in your locker, kept in your safe, but take them out.
Oh, well, I definitely will.
I really wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
For whatever's to come. But I believe, I see that good times are ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I really enjoyed our conversation, and I really think we should get back together after some months.
Yes.
To catch up
on
what you have achieved then so far.
Sounds good. Let's do that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Müzikalite.